Abraham, Life, Faith, Covenants, and Legacy. A complete narrative. Hello my friend, and welcome warmly to the channel, Miracles of History. Please do not forget to leave your like, share this video with friends and family, and subscribe to the channel to follow more incredible stories and teachings. Genealogy and childhood of Abraham. Abraham, one of the greatest patriarchs in the Bible, was born as the son of Terach and his mother Amtalai, daughter of Karmavot, as recorded in the Talmud. He had two brothers, Nachah and Charan. Abraham came into the world in the year 1948, since creation, living during the time of the famous Tower of Babel, witnessing events that would profoundly influence the spiritual direction of humanity forever. From a very young age, Abraham displayed an extraordinary sense of curiosity, deep perception, and thoughtful reflection about the universe and its origins. While observing nature, the stars, and the natural laws surrounding him, Abraham came to realize the existence of a single, supreme creator. His understanding reached such a level that he attained spiritual insight and prophetic awareness beyond his time. His father Terach was an idolater and the owner of a statue shop, expecting Abraham to follow the family business. However, driven by unwavering monotheistic faith, Abraham performed a bold act. He smashed all the idols in the shop, leaving just one standing with a stick in its hand, teaching a symbolic lesson about the futility of idolatry. When confronted by his father, Abraham questioned, "If these statues cannot act or defend themselves, why do you worship them?" This episode demonstrates the courage, wisdom, and moral clarity of Abraham, even as a young man, challenging long-standing traditions. Abraham, Nimrod, and the furnace miracle. The king Nimrod, the same figure associated with the Tower of Babel, sought to test Abraham's faith. He said, "If you truly believe in one God, he will save you from the blazing furnace in your Kasdim." Yor, in Aramaic, meaning fire. Abraham, with complete trust in his creator, entered the furnace without knowing whether he would survive. A divine miracle occurred, and Abraham emerged unharmed. His brother Charan, though leaning toward monotheism, hesitated and entered only after witnessing Abraham's miraculous protection. Tragically, Charan did not survive, demonstrating that partial faith is insufficient, and true devotion requires complete and unwavering trust in God's plan. The death of Charan reveals that real faith demands courage and absolute commitment. Abraham, Lot, and the journey to Canaan. After Charan's death, Abraham took on the responsibility of caring for his nephew Lot and his wife Sarai. God called him to leave his homeland, the house of his parents, and travel to the land of Canaan, promising him a great lineage and abundant blessings. Abraham guided Sarai and Lot with wisdom and faith, teaching the people around him about the existence of a single God. In this way, Abraham and Sarai nurtured the spiritual growth of many, laying the foundation for generations of faithful followers who would continue the path of righteousness. Separation of Abraham and Lot. Different paths. Over time, Abraham and Lot accumulated substantial wealth, possessing vast herds and properties. Conflicts naturally arose between their herders, mostly due to competition for grazing lands and natural resources. Lot's herders sometimes encroached on neighboring lands to feed his extensive flocks, while Abraham's herders acted justly, respecting God's laws. Faced with these tensions, Lot decided to separate from his uncle, saying, "I no longer wish to live by your side, uncle. Your righteous way of life is too much for me." Lot moved to Sodom, a city rich and fertile, but corrupt and idolatrous. Abraham, although disappointed, did not oppose him, maintaining his faith and upholding his just and moral principles. War of the Four Kings and Lot's rescue. During this period, 5 kings rebelled against 4 powerful rulers. After their defeat, Lot and other inhabitants of Sodom were taken captive. Driven by familial love and responsibility, Abraham led a surprise attack with 318 trained men, defeating the opposing kings and rescuing his nephew, refusing any spoils of war from the king of Sodom. Abraham gave the tithe to Melchizedek, king priest of Salem, emphasizing justice, monotheism, and spiritual devotion. The birth of Ishmael. An initial hope. After many years of marriage without children, Sarai suggested that Abraham have a child through her maidservant Hagar, to ensure a lineage. Abraham agreed, and Ishmael was born, whose destiny would also play a significant role in history. This occurred before God's definitive promise regarding Abraham's descendants through Sarai, showing that divine plans unfold in perfect timing, often beyond human understanding. The change of names. Soon after, God informed Abraham that he would have children with Sarai. To mark this covenant, God changed their names. Abram became Abraham, and Sarai became Sarah. The meaning is profound. Abram meant exalted father, while Abraham signifies father of many nations, symbolizing that his descendants would not only be numerous, but also spiritually and universally significant. Sarai, now Sarah, became recognized as a woman of immense spiritual influence and blessing for generations to come. First, divine covenant. The covenant of the pieces. God established with Abraham the covenant of the pieces, in which animals were sacrificed and divided, except for a bird, representing faithful monotheists. Walking between the halves, Abraham reaffirmed his commitment to God and rejection of idolatry. God promised that Abraham's descendants would grow in number, endure challenges, but ultimately return to the promised land, fulfilling a mission of both spiritual and material significance. Second covenant. Brit Milah, circumcision. God instituted the covenant of circumcision, or Brit Milah, symbolizing spiritual purity and the ongoing commitment of Abraham and his male descendants. Abraham performed the circumcision on himself, Ishmael, and his followers, demonstrating that true devotion requires tangible acts, rituals, and faithful obedience. Birth of Isaac and the fulfillment of God's promise. Having reached spiritual readiness, Abraham and Sarah received Isaac Yitzhak, whose name means laughter, symbolizing joy, wonder, and the miraculous fulfillment of God's promise. This event showed that steadfast faith and patience with God bring forth extraordinary blessings, even when circumstances seem impossible. The sacrifice of Isaac. Akedat. Yet, despite God's promise, Abraham was tested with the command to sacrifice Isaac. Abraham obeyed with unwavering trust, demonstrating absolute faith. Isaac, aware and mature, accepted his role. At the last moment, God provided a substitute animal, confirming Abraham's devotion and solidifying his role as a model of unwavering faith. The final phase of Abraham's life. After the sacrifice, Abraham returned, found Sarah had passed away, and purchased the tomb of the patriarchs, a sacred site of profound spiritual importance. Later, he married Keturah, possibly Hagar returning from Egypt, and had additional children. However, the primary spiritual and material inheritance remained with Isaac. Abraham lived to the age of 175, passing away in peace, and being buried alongside Sarah, leaving an eternal legacy of faith, righteousness, kindness, and unwavering devotion to the Creator. If this content has nourished your soul just as manna sustained the people in the desert, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with friends and family so more people may learn these truths and spiritual lessons. May God bless you and your family abundantly. We'll see you in the next video with more stories of faith, miracles, and divine wisdom.